Today we're going to do the first of two demonstrations on how to create a very simple, straightforward, web-based animation using Adobe Flash. So within this first demonstration, we're going to demonstrate how to set up a brand new Flash file. We'll show you how to work with graphics. We'll talk about how to add keyframes to Flash's timeline. And then we'll go through and demonstrate how to create what's called a very straightforward classic tween that serves as the basis for animation using Flash. So first of all, let's start off by creating a new Flash animation. So I have Flash on my screen right now. What you'll want to do is you will always want to tell Flash that you would like to create a new ActionScript 3.0 web animation. So from with this launching screen right here, just simply choose ActionScript 3.0. And we call this area the stage right here. This little gray section we call the pasteboard. The pasteboard is kind of a spot where you can place objects, graphics, text, and so on that don't really make it onto the staging area right here. However, we can put objects in the pasteboard that get tweened onto the stage, which we'll demonstrate in this file. So first of all, let's configure our stage. Our stage is white. I want to change its color. I would also like to change the stage size as well. So I'm going to simply right-click my stage, and I'm going to go choose Document. And first of all, let's change the size of the stage. In terms of width, I want 600 pixels. And for height, I would like 500 pixels. And for the background on my stage, I don't really want to use white. I will pick a different background, kind of a light sky blue. And after configuring the dimensions of the stage and configuring a background color, click OK. Now I'll adjust my scroll bar here so I can see my entire stage. Flash has a very useful zoom tool up top, so depending upon what you're doing, sometimes it's necessary to modify the size or the zoom level of the stage. So for this first very simple demonstration, we're going to simply animate a small ball. And we'll have the ball fall down from this direction, bounce off the floor, and make its way up this direction. Very simple, very straightforward. So first of all, we're going to need a ball. So we'll have to use Flash's drawing tools. Now over on the side here, you'll have a small toolbox that contains a number of tools that can be used to draw objects within Flash. Here is the oval tool, which I will turn on. And after turning on the oval tool, I'm going to configure the fill and the stroke. Now the stroke is the outline color, basically the line that surrounds an object. And right now the stroke is set to black, which is actually fine for this. So I'm just going to leave the stroke as black. I don't want my ball to be red though. I would like my ball to be white. So I will click on the fill color and I will set the fill to be white. Now, after telling Flash that I would like the stroke color, the line color for my ball to be black, and I would like the fill for my ball to be white, I'm going to draw a ball on my stage. Now this is the oval tool, and oval meaning that it's used to create ovals, but we don't want an oval, we would like a perfect circle. So to get a perfect circle, hold down your Shift key on your keyboard, and while you hold down your Shift key, hold down your left mouse button and draw a circle, draw a ball on the stage. I'll hold down Shift, and that'll do right there. So there's my ball. Now, after drawing a ball on the stage, I need to convert this graphic, which what I just drew here, I need to convert it into what's called a symbol. Now, symbols are the objects that Flash animates within the stage. So right now, this drawn graphic that I just put on my stage can't be animated in its current form. I need to tell Flash to convert this graphic ball, this graphic circle, into a symbol, which, once done, I can then animate. So to convert this drawn graphic into a symbol, go over to the toolbox and turn on the selection tool, and just simply draw a box around your ball. And you'll see it gets selected with all these little holes all over the place. Simply, that's just Flash's way of telling you that you've currently selected both the fill and the stroke. And after selecting that, right-click it And within the context menu that appears on the screen, you would like to convert to symbol. So you can give your symbol a name. Symbol 1, I'm going to call it simply white ball. White ball. Now for a type, now very important, you are not making a button, so we need to change this. We are just simply making a graphic symbol. So within this drop-down menu, choose graphic. So I've given it a name, white ball, and I've told Flash this will be a graphic symbol, and click OK. Alright, so let's do some animating. I would like to start it off kind of the top left of my stage for now. So my selection tool is still turned on, so I'm going to just simply click it and move it up to, say, right about there. Now, down at the bottom of Flash's screen, we see what's called the timeline. And right now, because we're creating just a very simple, straightforward, web-based animation, I only have one layer in my timeline. And this layer is used for my white ball. So right now, I'm currently on frame number 1. And you'll notice in frame number 1, there's a small dot within that frame. That small little black dot is Flash's way of indicating that this frame is indeed what's called a keyframe. Now, what is a keyframe? A keyframe is used to indicate a change in a symbol state on the stage. So you can kind of think of keyframes basically as kind of start and end points. So right now, at this keyframe, frame number 1, my white ball is in this position. Now, let's add a second keyframe, and let's tell Flash to, we'll position the ball into a different location. So right now my animation, down at the very bottom, is set for 24 frames per second. That means 24 frames are used to create 1 second of animation. So let's say, for instance, that I'm going to take, say, I'm going to go to frame 25. That's just over a second. And on frame 25, I'm going to insert a keyframe. So after left-clicking it, I'm going to right-click it and choose Insert Keyframe. Okay. Now, we call these, all this gray stuff in here, we call these static frames, which simply means that nothing's happening, nothing's moving. Now, with frame 25 selected, I want you to grab that ball that you drew, and you position right at the very bottom. And Flash will even help you make sure that it's lined up right at the very bottom of your stage. So drag your white ball right down to the bottom of the stage on frame 25. Now, after positioning the white ball at the bottom of the stage on frame 25, let's tell Flash to create what's called a classic tween. So between this keyframe and this keyframe, basically from this start point to this end point, we would like to have Flash generate the frames needed for our animation. And to do so, just simply hold your mouse pointer over top of these gray static frames and right-click the concrete frames. And tell Flash that you would like to create a classic tween. This is one of the easiest tweens to make in Flash. Now, after doing so, you'll see that those gray static frames are now purple in color, and you'll see the solid arrow. Now, this solid arrow means that all is good. If you see a broken arrow within the purple frames, that typically means that there's something not quite right with one of your key frames. However, in frame 1, you position the ball more or less to the top left, and on the last frame, frame 25, we've put the ball towards the bottom, and this little red indicator, we call this the playhead. And when I click and move the playhead within the timeline, I can see that Flash has now generated the frames needed to animate my white ball. So from frame 1 to frame 25, so far my animation is working. So I better save my file and save. And I'll just put this on my desktop. And I'm just going to call this Demo 1. And I'll save it. Okay, after creating the first tween, I said that after the ball falls onto the bottom of the stage, to the floor, It will bounce off the floor and will come up to about this position right here. So let's do another 25 frames. So this time, within that layer in your timeline, left click frame 50, then do a right click and do an insert keyframe. Now on frame 50, I would like my ball to be more or less in this position right there. So on frame 50, I've told Flash where I would like my white ball to be. And after telling Flash where I would like my white ball to be on frame 50, I will then go down to my timeline, and here's all these gray static frames, simply meaning that nothing is being animated in this section of my timeline. But now that I've specified frame 25, the ball's at the bottom of the stage, and on frame 50, where the ball is towards the top right-hand corner, I will right-click these gray static frames, and I will tell Flash to simply create a classic tween. And there we have it. I see the purple bars along with my solid arrow. And when I drag my playhead, I now have my white ball bouncing off the bottom of my stage. Okay, save your changes. And let's test our movie. Flash has a very good tool that's used to preview your animation right within this design environment. So to test your animation, go to the Control menu and just simply choose Test. And there it is. Fantastic. Now notice, it's repeating over and over and over again. I would like to have my animation stop at the end of my movie. So frame 50 is basically where my movie ends. So when the timeline or when the playhead reaches frame 50, I would like my animation to stop. So let's put a stop instruction at frame 50. So right-click frame 50, and after right-clicking frame 50, I would like you to choose Actions. Now, once the Actions panel comes on your screen, the Actions panel has kind of a little wizard that can be used to kind of help Flash developers out in terms of writing their action script. An action script is kind of Flash's programming language that's used to create all kinds of neat, interesting animations. To activate the little wizard, click on the little snippet button right there. And I'll just bring up that snippet panel over here. And I'm going to go to the Action Script section. And I'll go to Timeline Navigation. And in Timeline Navigation, I would like to stop at this frame. So I'll double click. And Flash will add my stop instruction. Okay, once doing so, I can close the little snippet panel. And I can also close my Actions panel. And take a look at my timeline. My timeline now has a new layer. And we call this the Actions layer. And I'll just move my playhead. You'll notice that this frame within my Actions layer has a small little A within it, just simply indicating that there is now some action script. There is an instruction sitting inside this frame. And specifically, we've told Flash that once the playhead reaches frame 50, we would like our animated movie to stop. So I'm going to save my changes. And I'm going to test my movie again. So I'll go to Control, Test. Perfect. And it stops. Now, we're going to add one more thing to our demonstration. When our movie starts, our white ball, our graphic symbol, is in this location right here. And when our movie ends, our white ball is in this location. Now, what I would like to do is this. I would like to have the white ball start and end off of the stage. So we'll demonstrate how the pasteboard can be used in your animations. So this is very straightforward actually. We're just going to simply modify the very first keyframe and the very last keyframe. So click on the first keyframe, and I'm going to slide this down just a little bit so that I can have a little bit more of my pasteboard available to me at the top of my screen here. And after clicking on the first keyframe, I want you to change the start position of the white ball. Instead of having the white ball start on the stage, I would like you to click it and drag it and have it start off the stage. Now, the beauty of Flash is that when you change a keyframe, when you change kind of the start or end position of an animated symbol, Flash will automatically update that motion tween to ensure that your animation is still very fluid. So notice that as I move my playhead here, the motion tween, or the classic tween here, is automatically updated. Now I'm going to do the same for, I'm just going to reduce my zoom level, 80%. There we go. I'm going to do the same for the last keyframe now. So there's frame 25 when it bounces off the bottom of the stage. But on frame 50, I'm going to change the end position. And in frame 50, instead of the ball stopping at the top right of the stage, I'm going to grab it and I'll put it up on the pasteboard. There we go. And after changing its end position, Flash will automatically redo this classic tween to ensure that my animation is still fluid and it still does exactly what I would like it to do. I'll save my changes and I will test my movie. Control, test movie, and it ends. Well, that is the end of our first demonstration.